very difficult to find shoes that size, I can tell you.
Today's been about getting all families together and out in the woodland, enjoying the sunshine and getting hands-on with nature. So we've got all the activities, so they've been getting in with all the crafts and arty things, so they've been enjoying dressing up as elves, recapturing that imagination and enjoying being in the woodland.
Mental health problems such as depression and anxiety can leave a young person feeling alone, stressed and isolated. But one amazing place that can help to conquer this is the woods. Being with others in the woods can create feelings of happiness, security and togetherness. It's a place where you can be free from your problems and difficulties. It's being in the here and now and taking in what nature has to offer. By giving a young person a feeling of togetherness, it can help them deal with feelings of isolation which can be significant in aiding a person's recovery.
What do you think is important about getting people out into the countryside?
It's a knowledge and understanding of the nature and of the countryside. It's a very good experience as well.
The main thing is actually getting these guys out away from the stress of city life, getting them out into the open air, getting them mixing between interfaith groups, so it's actually getting the Muslim community, the Sikh community to come out, reminiscing what they left behind in India, Pakistan, Kashmir, and it's good for the health as well, actually getting them walking as well. It's actually encouraging walking, encouraging them to coming out and seeing different side of Britain.
Pushing Down the Barriers is a youth volunteering programme. It's a 3-year funded project based across urban South Hampshire.
So the project is geared for, as I say, 13 to 25-year-olds, young people that either need, so that's not in employment, educational training, and at risk of antisocial behaviour. And I work in the southwest of the region, so that covers Southampton area, the New Forest area. We're engaged in all sorts of conservation tasks. It very much depends on the time of year, so it's really, really quite varied.
So getting them out and doing some fairly easy tasks helps to build their confidence, helps with their social skills as well. They feel a bit more included, so they can often feel isolated.
Well, the young people involved learn a whole range of new skills. Not only do they learn about practical conservation tasks and bushcraft activities, they also learn a lot about themselves and how to develop personal skills.
So the activities that young people get involved in are based around conservation tasks, but they're not purely about conservation. There's many aspects of it. It involves them learning skills, how to use hand tools properly, health and safety, gets them working as part of a team.
The young people involved are able to get the John Muir Award, which is an environmental volunteering accreditation, which is absolutely fantastic because so many of the young people involved have never actually received any kind of accreditation, so it's a really nice positive result for them.
The project certainly provides them with an alternative way of learning. A lot of these young people have quite a short attention span or not particularly geared to classroom work. We get very positive feedback from the young people that they really enjoy the sessions. Often these young people wouldn't get a chance to actually go out and appreciate it and really understand what countryside is and what nature reserves are. They can understand the areas a little bit more. Their world is expanded from the urban areas that they live in.
They feel better about themselves, so they feel that they can do more, and once they feel they can do more, they tend to achieve more.
I've engaged in framework with Gateway to Nature. That's changed my life quite considerably for the better.
After going to various agencies, and they referred me and said, to get out and see nature, that sort of.
It's helped me a lot, hell of a lot. With me being alcoholic, recovering alcoholic, I should say.
it gets me out, takes me to different places I didn't know existed, like you said, you know. And I love that. I love being out.
This film focuses on the Nepalese community who were invited to pit down to meet their local rangers, navigate their way to the site using maps, take part in some conservation work and build a campfire together.
This was an event which really tried to introduce them to the project. It was their first time coming out, so we wanted to give them an idea of really what the local countryside has to offer for them in their area.
This sort of project gives people like me an opportunity to come and go back to nature. Simple things like cutting down a tree and, you know, collecting those twigs and making fire, it makes you creative. So I think it's very good for young people like me and my friends around here. It gives us a chance to set off our stress and, you know, and make us happy.
Hammersmith Community Gardens Association is a very small local environmental charity, and we work with volunteers of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all skills and abilities. We work a lot with schools as well, and because of that we work a lot with younger people as volunteers. We also run a scheme for corporate volunteers. We have 4 sites that we manage. 2 of them are community gardens, and one of them was the very first one that we had when we first set up. We also work with a propagation project in a park, and we also work here. This is our 4th managed site, which is a local food growing project on for the local community basically. All the work that's done here is done by people from the local community as volunteers and children from the local school.
My name's Anna and I run the Get Out There course for Hammersmith Community Gardens Association, and today is our taster day where people can come along and find out about the course. This is Kevin, who's been volunteering with me for 8 months now, and he's my volunteer assistant for the project.
Yeah, I started off as a volunteer, like hopefully all these nice people here are going to as well. The idea of today is to give them an idea of what our course is all about, and also to show them a bit of the tools we use, the health and safety, yeah? And just generally to give them an idea of what we do every week. I just enjoy it. I get out of the city once or twice a week, helping other people who perhaps have had a few problems in life, some of us. You know, it just helps us along, gets us out, fresh air, exercise, and you're doing something useful for the community as well.
And the satisfying bit, the coping stones are going on.
Face down. All the way down.
Star Valley project came about really because of the trust moving towards a living landscapes concept. Thinking about not just nature reserves in isolation, but about the green spaces that connect up nature reserves. And the Sow Valley in Coventry is a really wonderful example of a green corridor connecting up really valuable habitats. You've got Wyconslough Nature Reserve in the north, Stokeford's Local Nature Reserve in the centre of the valley, and Stonebridge Meadows in the south. And a really wonderful green corridor that runs between them provides a really wonderful and incredibly valuable green space for the residents of Coventry. In May 2010, just 7 months after the project was launched, the Sow Valley Volunteers were formed. For many of the volunteers, it was the opportunity to make the valley better for wildlife and for people that encouraged their involvement in the project.
And I used to walk along the Sow footpath and I was amazed at how much rubbish is dumped into the river. You'd be surprised at stacks, everything. So I just wanted to clear it up a bit. I felt a bit silly. I did some on my own and I felt a bit silly. So it's nice to have an organisation you can be with that you're not looked as mad paddling in the water.
The volunteers since starting have achieved a huge amount. Over 80 volunteers have given time to the project, equating to over 1,700 volunteer hours spent on the river. Over 500 bags of rubbish have been removed. Many large items have also been removed from the river, including trolleys, car batteries and garage doors. 2 turn rafts have been installed at Stoke Floods. 1 otter halt has been installed along the river to encourage otters to migrate further up the Sow. 10 mink rafts have been installed and are being monitored for signs of mink by Sow Valley volunteers. Over 200 square metres of invasive Himalayan balsam has been removed from the bankside, and over 50 square metres of native bankside species have been planted in their place. A total of 22 sites have been improved for both people and wildlife along the Sow.
I joined the group because I enjoy being out in the woods and thought that it would help me get the job that I'm aiming for.
What makes you stay? All the lovely people and learning about the animals and the woodland.
It's fun and educational.
Well, the food and the nice team here and all the people and learning physical and skills and working in the woods.
Natural Estates is a partnership project between London Wildlife Trust, 8 social landlords and Groundwork London.
We've got these great little pockets of green space on our doorsteps, and how can we make sure that they're actually valuable to all the local people that live nearby?
Summer housing estates have a really massive amount of green space. So the Natural Estates project, I suppose its aim is to realise this asset and try to rebuild a sense of value, both in terms of the space themselves for wildlife, but also among the people who use those green spaces.
So we're planting trees, white flowers, we're constructing bird boxes, bat boxes, we're taking residents for trips.
Generally encouraging kind of community cohesion and just getting people, talking to their neighbours.
When you've got those things in place, you can do quite a lot of amazing things.
Hundreds of people have taken ownership of the spaces where previously they felt they weren't welcome or they were afraid of. These were spaces that were empty, vandalised, vacant, underappreciated and viewed by some as a problem. To reverse that and to make them spaces which are being enjoyed by many hundreds of people, I think is a really good piece of news.
We tend to live in a sort of society where we don't necessarily speak very much to the people that live closest to us. These facilities, these green spaces that are right here, really provide the arena where people pass each other on a day-to-day basis. And if people are inclined to just stop because the space is nice on a sunny day like today, then they have the opportunity to speak a bit more to their neighbours. And I think that the Natural Estates project has really helped to facilitate that.
We found that on these trips people started to make connections not just with their natural environment but with each other. So people who hadn't previously met each other on the estate would meet on these kind of activities and develop friendships.
I think what's really important about organising trips like this is that by learning a little bit about the history of a place or learning what this plant is called and what it's used for, I think it makes people more interested in it. And if you have people who know more about them and know the value of those green spaces, they're more likely to then enjoy them, which is very important, but also protect them as well.
Stepping Stones is a 4-year project working across Plymouth, hosted by Plymouth City Council, working with a range of partners, and the main aim really is to support people to access green space for health and well-being. The opportunity that we got for funding a piece of artwork came along when we'd already done some groundwork with the community. We had a lot of people on board and the Friends group was going well, and that process was really helped through Take Apart, the local arts organisation who had the contacts with artists so that we could have a good choice really of who to involve in the woods.
I've always felt very strongly that art should be a part of everyday life. It should be something that people don't feel intimidated about. This kind of project has given me a beautiful opportunity to actually put that into practice and to try and make something which is going to be part of everybody's everyday experience, and hopefully they'll come to enjoy it, sit on it, lean against it and live with it. I liked the idea of doing something in memory of this rather magnificent oak that had come down here in a very specific way, but also in a more general sense something, you know, the piece is called In Praise of Trees, and I thought it would be rather nice, being in a lovely woodland, to have something which was a kind of monument to trees, really, in general.
It makes it different by having something completely different in somewhere you wouldn't normally find a piece of art.
The stillness of the woods is regenerating for me as a busy, hard-working parent. There's a passion here and there's a love here, and it's a joy to bring my children to it and share it with them.
It's a wonderful community resource.
It's nice for families to come down here and be able to go away from the city. It's peaceful.
You feel part of something.
Ham Woods is this permanent kind of fixture in the landscape here, and to see it getting nurtured and improved, I think that sends a really positive signal that, you know, there are people who care about this place, and seeing that this is an opportunity for people to really participate in their local environment and their local neighbourhood.
My name is Jo North. I'm a farmer's daughter. My dad is third generation farmer here. We heard about the Let Nature Feed Your Senses project in the Farmers Weekly. I think it's a good project. It's a lovely project. We had no experience of running sensory rich farm visits. However, it was something that really appealed to me personally. We get lots out of it, and we can be really creative. As part of the project, we've had all sorts of groups, adults and children with learning difficulties, groups of the elderly, and we've had families from deprived areas as well. I felt quite nervous about having visitors with complex needs out on the farm. It was something I didn't really know and I didn't understand. So initially very nervous. it? Well done. Do that. So one big handful in each bucket. Oh right, okay, I'll do that. You'll hold the dog. That's cool. What does it smell?
It smells like Brian's hair.
I try and manage challenging situations
Thanks, James.
by always having something extra to do, and also working with the group leaders and knowing of any issues that may occur in advance. The training we've had as part of the project has been excellent. It's looked at every different group and specific needs within those groups. Try and bring each of the senses into every visit. Nice. So the first thing that people will notice is the smell. We've got the smell of the slurry, the smell of the cows, the smell of the silage. We've got lots of smells going on. We encourage our visitors to touch as much as possible. So touch the cows, touch the feed, touch the grains.
It was great. I like pigs. It's my favourite colour. This pink.
Cows and the tractor.
You can't put a price on it really. Yeah.
What do pigs do?
Smells.
It gives me something to look forward to. It gives me something to write in my diary, or otherwise it remains empty.
My life, more or less. Give me something to do. And now I haven't done for like 4 years. So to get on my life,
Well, definitely more confident, and maybe I want to come in front of the camera.
With all of life's hardship and pain, when the light of hope is so hard to see, I wander along to this place and thank for this quaint sanctuary.